Let's talk about Demi. I'm promiscuous. Sorry, Dad.
Left and right.
She wants to call me classless, and she over here yelling like this. Basically, tone down Demi, which I would never do for anyone.
4, 3, 2. More
It's 2019 and you still haven't talked to Colton. You were more like bed bugs. Like, I forgot you were there, and then you just kept annoying the out of me.
She's hilarious, she's promiscuous, that's her word. She's meme-worthy, she's fabulous. That was the Women Tell All, the Bachelor special that aired Tuesday night. And in many ways, guys, it was Demi Tells All. The ladies of season 23 of The Bachelor came face to face for an explosive special to talk all about what had happened all season long. And now to break it all down, we are joined by the woman herself, Demi Burnett. We will never try to tone you down, Demi. How are you?
Yes, hi, I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you so much for being here with us. Where are you Skyping in from? Where are you at right now?
I'm in Texas. I'm in Red Oak.
She went home to Texas after talking it all out with the ladies. Give me your initial reaction to watching the episode last night. How did you think it all went?
Oh my gosh, it was cringy. It was really good though. I was proud of myself for standing up for myself. I mean, of course, I can be a little extra sometimes, but I mean, I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny.
I thought it was great. And you know what? Let's get right into one of the biggest moments from the night. Let's take a look at when Courtney shoved a pacifier in your mouth.
Oh, God.
Here's that clip.
All you do is talk about yourself and talk about other people all day. Go to timeout. Go to timeout, Demi. Take it to timeout. She just shoved a pacifier in my mouth. Security! Pick up your passy. Go sit in timeout. I should shove my heels down your throat.
Demi, how much did you have to kind of invoke your own maturity there to maintain composure?
It took everything in me. Like, of course, you know, your natural reaction is like you want to start swinging. But, I mean, I just had to tell myself this is not the time or the place. That's not who I am. I'm not violent, and I'm not doing that.
It was nuts to me because we were, you know, watching it happen and you couldn't really tell right away what Courtney had in her hand. I was like, oh my God, she's going at her. I was impressed that you didn't even, you know, I thought, is she gonna have to defend herself here? What's happening? Were you a little scared in that moment?
I wasn't really scared because I didn't think she would like physically, excuse me, touch me. But I mean, I just thought she was gonna come up and like, you know, get in my face and say something stupid. So whenever she did shove that pacifier in my mouth, I was just really shocked, and I thought that like nobody would ever take it to that level, honestly.
Yeah, did you talk to the other women, producers and stuff? What was everybody's reaction when that happened?
Well, all of the girls, like immediately, they were like, Demi, are you okay? Are you okay? They were like, that was ridiculous. And then whenever we like cut to a break, I went up to the producers and I was like, what the bleep? Like, I was like, who let her do that? Who gave her that?
We were shocked, to say the least. What about after that? Because I know, you know, and you and I talked at the taping because I was there doing interviews with you and everybody, and you had just celebrated your birthday. I know usually the cast goes out and celebrates after the tell-all. So what was it like between you and Courtney? Did you guys go out together? Did you talk? What happened?
We pretty much avoided each other throughout the whole after party, and then towards the end of it, I was actually like waiting on an Uber, and she chose like pull me aside, and she apologized to me, and so we kind of like have semi-squashed it. I had to leave in the middle of that conversation, but you know, I think it's safe to say like we're never gonna be friends. We are, you know, like Hannah said that her and Kaylin are like oil and water. Same with me and Courtney, like except for I can't even like be in the same room as her.
Okay, so do you accept that apology?
Yeah, I mean, I appreciated it.
You're like, a hesitant? Yeah. Anything, I know, you know, that taping goes for quite a minute. Is there anything that you want to say now that you didn't get a chance to say at the taping, or maybe that didn't make air?
No, I think that they pretty much got all of it. I mean, like you said, it was Demi Tell All.
It was, and it was great. We loved it. I want to play this moment when, you know, the women talk, and then Colton comes out on stage towards the end there, and you and Colton had a little bit of an exchange just about you guys' relationship and it ending. Let's take a look at that clip.
I want to say to you, like, I appreciate your honesty with me. I could tell, you know, looking back and watching it, that you wanted to lead someone, and I was leading you, so I understand. why I wasn't the one for you. But, you know, I enjoyed my time with you so much, and I thank you for everything.
So that surprised me a little bit, Demi. I hadn't, to hear you say that Colton was maybe wanting to lead someone and that you were leading him. Tell me a little bit about what you think about what Colton wants out of a relationship.
You know, like Colton, I mean, I can't speak for him, but like, I think he wants to like feel like the man, and he wants to like, you know, be the dominant one and take charge. And I mean, I was definitely trying to take control of him. So I think that, you know, there's like two different types of men who want someone to be in charge of them, and then men who like want to be the boss. It's just like, you know, it's a difference in personalities.
Interesting. I hadn't totally gotten that vibe from Colton, but you got that vibe from him.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, go ahead.
Maybe like watching back now and seeing how like, you know, he is with the other girls, like he's, you know, initiating all the conversations and stuff with them, whereas I was like always initiating them with him.
I see what you're saying. And, you know, we got plenty of shirtless shower scenes, of course, with Colton. They didn't let us down at the tell-all. We're going to just play those out while we had to break, and we'll be right back with more from Demi Burnett.
Demi, you literally have the maturity of a 3-year-old. All you do is talk about yourself and talk about other people all day. Go to timeout. Go to timeout.
All right, Demi, let's get right into it. Courtney attacked you with a pacifier tonight. Will you be filing the assault charges that you mentioned?
No, and she's lucky that I'm not. No, I mean, it took her a long time to come up with that idea, so it was a terrible idea. It was stupid. But I don't have the time of day to go and file an assault charge against her. She embarrassed herself enough tonight, and that was all the pleasure I needed out of that.
Well, what was going through your head when she was coming at you? Because we were watching it a little freaked out. We didn't know what she was going to do or what she had in her hand.
I just thought maybe she was like gonna like be a little sassy or something, and like the second she put her hand in my face, like I was like ready to throw hands, and I was like, this is not Jeffrey, or what's his name? Jerry Springer. Jeffree Star. Hi, welcome back to my channel. I was like, this is not Jerry Springer. Demi, do not throw hands with him.
I was wondering where the pacifier came from. She seemed to have been sitting on it, and then
she came out of her butthole. I don't know, but I was triggered when she put that thing near my face. I was like, where'd you pull that out of? Why are you putting it near my face? And where's the police? Security,
please. So that all happened, but overall, I kind of feel like you won tonight, Demi. Like, do you feel like you won tonight?
I absolutely feel like I won. They were chanting, Demi, Demi. I was like, yes, this is my moment.
We are back on ET Live with Roses and Rose Live, talking The Bachelor's explosive Women Tell All episode with one of the women who told all, Demi Burnett. Demi, thanks again for being with us. I want to get your take on the Onyeka and Nicole fight, because they were going back and forth. Nicole had accused Onyeka of bullying her. Onyeka literally had memorized the definition of the word bully, said it out loud, and said, I'm not that. Who do you see as right in this situation?
I don't think like either of them are necessarily right. I would definitely say that Onyeka is not a bully. She's one of my close friends, and I think that she really is like, you know, she's the life of the party. She puts you in a good mood. I also am friends with Nicole, though. I think she's a really sweet girl, and she's just, you know, she's more sensitive. And, you know, Onyeka has like a very, very strong personality, and, you know, it's not bad. And her, like Nicole being sensitive isn't bad either. They're just not going to get along. I don't think either of them are right or wrong. They're just different. But I think they're both good people, and they have good intentions.
Well, and then we got some insight into something that had become a big part of the drama in the second half of the season, which is which women were there for the right reasons versus women maybe having ulterior motives to become the Bachelorette one day or something like that. And Katie opened up about this conversation that she had alluded to with Colton, but she didn't name names. Well, on the Women Tell All, she named names. Let's take a look at what Katie had to say.
To set the record straight, the Bachelorette conversation did happen on the bus from the airport in Singapore to the hotel. And
what did you
honestly,
hear?
It was just talking about being the Bachelorette, or one of us winning and one of us being the Bachelorette after this. And honestly, like, it was the word winning. I didn't feel like he was something to be won. I felt like it was a relationship to work for.
So Katie's saying that Kaylin, who we're seeing on screen now, and Cassie, who was not at the tell-all because she was in Colton's final 3, were having this conversation on a bus about winning and being Bachelorette, and that it rubs some people the wrong way. What's your take on that conversation?
You know, I trust Katie, and I think Katie is an amazing woman, and I don't think that she would lie, especially not in front of an entire, crowd of people and essentially on national television. But I don't think that maybe like the conversation was that malicious. Like maybe Kaylin and Cassie had that conversation, but it was so lighthearted that they didn't even think anything of it. And maybe they like forgot that they said it, or maybe they didn't say it at all. I mean, I don't know. I don't understand why, Katie would come up with that. I think that she's probably telling the truth and saying what she heard. I think that it's okay to say that you wanted to be the Bachelorette if you weren't the one at the end. I think that everyone probably feels that way. So just like, if you said it, own it. It's not that big of a deal.
What was the conversation like at the after party about all of this? Did this come up again, and what did everybody have to say?
No, there wasn't talk about it at the after party. It was my birthday, so, I was just running around like, shut.
I love it. And we also, got, of course, everybody in the hot seat. You were up there, Kaylin, Hannah B. I know you and Hannah B are close, and I want to take a look at this clip of Hannah B with Mr. Chris Harrison. Let's take a look.
Cheers to this beautiful day together, new experiences, and continuing to be honest, real, every moment we have together, and roll tide.
Demi, we're going to try to bring that up again because your face, you're like leaning back in your chair, you're gripping your face. What's going through your mind at that moment?
I was like, girl, you better kill it. Like, this is your moment. This is your time to redeem yourself. Get it, Beast. Get it.
We heard you. We could kind of hear you in the background. You were yelling, Hannah Beast. I think that was you. Because Hannah had infamously given like the worst toast ever in the history of the show during her one-on-one date with Colton. And what was your thought of how she did on the second time around?
I think she did much better. That's kind of one of my favorite things about Hannah is that, like, whenever, she kind of gets nervous, she gets all awkward, and it's so adorable. But I think that she redeemed herself. She did a great job, and it made me laugh, and, like, I was watching with my family, and they were all cracking up, too. We're all Beast fans.
I know that you guys kind of, obviously, you talk, and, there are group texts, and everybody stays in touch because you get so close. Who was maybe the most nervous or the most excited heading into Women Tell All of the group?
I was probably the most excited. I knew that I was going to kill it. The most nervous, I would say probably Katie, because she was scared that people were going to hate her. There's a lot of nasty trolls on the internet who say really mean things for no reason. And Katie just didn't want to get any more hate. And I think that that's a huge message that we need to send out is like, leave these girls alone. These are people. Mm-hmm. And they're good people, and nobody deserves the hate that's been given. And she didn't even say anything that's anywhere near deserving of what's been dealt out to her.
All right, I want to talk to you about that more, Demi. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more from Demi Burnett.
To set the record straight, the Bachelorette conversation did happen on the bus from the airport in Singapore to the hotel. And
what did you hear?
Honestly, it was just talking about being the Bachelorette, or one of us winning and one of us being the Bachelorette after this. And honestly, like, it was the word winning. I didn't feel like he was something to be won. I felt like it was a relationship to work for.
There's a lot of talk about this conversation you and Cassie had, and if you could, like, just quickly clear it up.
Yeah, I know exactly the conversation that was had. I was fully confident in my relationship with Colton. I was fully confident that it was going to be me in the end. And I was terrified that if it was me at the end, I didn't want Cassie and I's friendship to be in jeopardy. And so I was like, if it is me at the end, if I am engaged to Colton, I want you to be the Bachelorette. I want you to find your person. I want you to find happiness. And she said the same thing. Everything else is just made up.
Well, watching you go home was really difficult. Do you feel like you're still confused about that? And are you still in love with Colton at this point?
I'm still confused. I had one question that I wanted to ask Colton, and I asked that tonight, and he didn't really give me an answer. He didn't give me anything. We all kind of sat in silence for a minute and soaked that in, that there was no answer. And I've, taken some time, and I've tried to heal my heart, but it has been lonely. There's no one you can really talk to about it. It's been the hardest heartbreak that I've ever had to deal with, and I thought I was over it. but tonight just reopened old wounds.
Are you still in love with Colton?
I don't think I'm still in love with Colton. I just think that I'm still processing this deep, deep love that I had for him.
Well, why do you think you were sent home? And I have to say, was it hard to watch Cassie stay? She's your friend, and she had not expressed the same level of feelings for him that you had.
I was surprised.
We're back on ET Live with more Roses and Rosé Live, talking The Bachelor. Demi Burnett is here with us. Demi, I want to talk to you a little bit about Colton on the Women Tell All, because Kaylin, I felt like she told me in an interview after that she didn't really get the answer she was looking for from Colton. He even told her, like, I don't think I have anything else that would explain to you why we broke up. And then he gave kind of a broad apology to everyone, saying, look, it's not easy being the Bachelor. What did you and the other women think of how Colton handled himself and what he had to say that night?
I mean, I think he handled himself good. I think that there's really not much you can say, like, to the women who you didn't pick. Like, it's just, you don't have the same connections that, you know, he had with the women that are still there. Like, you know, that's all there is to it. There's, like, chemistry, there's connection, there's, you know, you're just into some other people more than you're into others. And I don't think that that's a bad thing. And I don't think it's easy to explain that, though, either, without, you know, not trying to hurt anyone's feelings.
Yeah, he was, I felt a little bit bad for Kaylin, honestly, because he was like, there's not really anything else I can say. Yeah. And I was like, oh, yeah. You know, because she was somebody who she really seemed so invested. I mean, she was in tears at the tell-all, and she said she really saw them getting married at the end. He'd met her family. How emotional did she seem to you that night?
I mean, you know, she cried a lot. I could tell that she was still really broken over it. And I felt really bad for her because I could tell she was hurt. But, you know, at this point, like, you know, you just got to move on. You just got to pick yourself up. Tell yourself you're a strong, independent woman who don't need no man, and get ready for whatever life throws at you next.
I love that, Demi. You mentioned Katie being worried about some backlash on social media. Have you ladies been experiencing that, and who's gotten the brunt of bad comments online?
Yes, it just depends. It goes with the week. It just depends on, you know, like, you know, in the beginning I got some backlash, and then as the show continued on, it stopped. I mean, I still get some every now and then. But I think that who gets the most backlash, it's whoever is the underdog, like in the argument. You know, like you think about the top girls who have like hundreds and thousands of followers. They have all of those people like a little mini army, and they will like go after anyone who challenges them on the show. So it's basically whoever's going up against the girl with the most numbers, and that's disgusting. Honestly, it's all been disgusting, and it's been painful to watch, and it's not tolerated on anyone's page, so it needs to stop.
Is there anyone who, I mean, has really been, like, who you've tried to kind of rally around as a friend who's been distraught about some of the backlash they've been getting?
No, nobody's, you know, really distraught because we all know that these people don't know us. It can be like painful in the moment, like, you know, for a few days, and it just sucks, like right after an episode airs, you know, where, you know, you did something that offended somebody, you know, the next few days you're going to spend probably like overthinking everything and feeling bad, trying to delete all the death threats in your DMs. But, I mean, we all get over it, and we're all there for each other, and these girls are so lovable, and I think every single one of them is a really good person. So don't, like, take everything you see on the screen for real life.
By the way, I think it was on my own Instagram, you and Jordan Kimball were going back and forth in the comments a little bit last night. What was that about, Demi?
I love the troll. I love a good, you know, banter back and forth. I think it's funny. I'm just over here to, like, just, you know, shoot the breeze, have a good time.
I posted a video of some, like, awesome things that you said at Tell All in our interview, and he said that you copied him. What do you have to say to that?
I have no idea what he's talking about. he literally always has to be talking about me. It's really cute.
Well, of course, we would love to see you on Paradise. I hope that happens. If you do go on the show, is there anybody else from the franchise who you'd maybe have your eye on, who you've kind of thought was cute or anything?
No, really no. I'm ready for some fresh meat.
A new crop from the next season of Bachelorette.
Yes.
Speaking of next season of Bachelorette, of course, we're all watching Women Tell All, wondering who it's going to be, hoping we find out next. I loved Hannah B's sit down with Chris and their toast to fierce love. Is there anybody who you would love to see as Bachelorette?
Other than myself, I would love it to be the Beast. That would be so entertaining, and I know that girl is ready for marriage. She talks about it all the time, so I would love to see me some Beast for the Bachelorette.
I love it. All right, Demi, Burnett, we, of course, are excited for the finale next week, a two-part live finale of The Bachelor Monday and Tuesday night. Guys, if you don't follow Demi, follow her on social media right now. And Demi, we hope to see you on our TV screens again. Thank you for being here. ET Live will be right back.
Thank you.
He just jumped the fence. Is there a button that opens the gate? Colton! Colton! I have no idea where he went.
Colton!
Holy. He is gone.
You run after Colton.
Why is that such a big deal? Why is everybody... I can run. I'm a human being. I can run. Why is that such a big deal?
I don't remember the last time we saw you run on the show.
Well, why would you ever see me run on the show? I usually don't have to chase after anybody. Yeah, usually I don't have to chase, but that's kind of the severity of where we were that night, and I have to kind of really impress upon people where we were in the middle of the Algarve region of Portugal. We truly lost him.
So what emotions are going through your mind and the producers' minds? Because, yeah, it's pitch black out there. You don't know if he has a phone, money, anything. How worried are you, and how scared are you for just his well-being?
Well, as I told him, like, what are you, Liam Neeson? You're going to go to the embassy? I mean, he said, well, I grabbed my wallet. I'm like, great, you don't have a phone. You don't have your passport. Where are you going? But he was just done. And I think that was the whole point, is that he finally thought he figured this whole thing out, and figured out that he loves Cassie, and this is it. And then Cassie realized his greatest fear and crushed him. And he just kind of broke and snapped, and he was done. And I don't think I realized the severity of it until I was trying to walk after him. And obviously you saw the jump of the fence, and then he took off. And then what you'll see after this is kind of the raw, real emotions. And it's not pretty. It's not pretty on my part. It's not pretty on the producer's part or Colton's. And I think you're going to see it warts and all. And it is really emotional on all of our parts. A lot of tears were shed, and a lot of things were said that may not be suitable for ABC. But we all kind of aired our grievances and let it all out.
We're back on ET Live with Roses and Rosé Live. Oh, it's been an epic week with 2 episodes of The Bachelor, a fence jump, a women tell all, a couple of women left. Maybe we're going to see what happens in the finale on Monday and Tuesday night next week. But this week, a lot to break down. So we are being joined right now by one of our favorite bachelors of all time, season 20's perfect Ben Higgins. Hi, Ben.
Hey, Lauren, how are you?
I'm great. How are you? Thanks for FaceTiming in with us this morning.
Hey, I'm in my car, so I pulled over the side of the road just to talk to you guys right now.
What an absolute warrior. Ben Higgins does so much good for the world, founder of Generous Coffee, does great work in Honduras for Humanity and Hope United, and pulls over his car to FaceTime with ET Live. Thank you, Ben. Okay, so I want to talk to you about the tell-all, Ben, because I've told you this. Your tell-all, we sort of remember as this iconic year for a tell-all because all of the women were just so kind about their relationships with you. They were like, Ben, you're the best. Thank you so much. How do you think Colton did last night? Because he had some interesting things to say to Kaylin. Let's actually take a quick look at that. Here's a clip.
Our breakup, I didn't have anything to say because I felt terrible. I didn't give you any closure, and I don't know if there's anything I could say now that will. Yeah.
I wanted more out of that answer, Ben. I wanted him to give Cassie or Kaylin a bit more of an explanation there. What did you think?
Yeah, he's so nervous. I mean, that's the thing is tell-all, you sit back in a room and you don't know what's being said about you. You don't know if all the women just absolutely hate you or they understand where you're coming from. So then you walk out and you sit down and you get questioned. And unless you're calm and at peace, you're going to get destroyed. And I think that answer just didn't give us what we were all hoping for, which was an explanation. And maybe it wasn't Colton's finest moment, but I can totally understand that he was just nervous.
He said when he came out, he was surprised by how nervous he was. Why don't they have you guys, the leads, watch the tell-all? I never understand that because we go to these tapings and I think, well, they're coming out here blind. They don't know what's happened for the past couple hours.
I mean, probably because of answers like that. I think the show hopes that you're prepared, that you know how you feel. I mean, now after filming, Colton's had a couple months to think through why he broke up with who he broke up with, why things happened the way it did. And so you hope to walk out to tell all prepared. And if you're not, then the show wants to show that. And I think last night there was moments where he was really prepared to answer and the women were pretty kind to him. But then there's moments like that we just go, he wasn't ready.
He did give this kind of big apology to the ladies overall. He said to all of them, look, being the Bachelor's hard, I was learning along the way, and I apologize if I hurt anybody. Overall, how would you rate Colton's tell-all showing?
Yeah, I think he did. I think he did what he did all season. He's trying really hard to do the best he can. And nobody's going to do this perfect. It's not set up for anybody to do it perfect. You're going to hurt people. Breakups are tough. You're saying goodbye to 20-plus women as the time goes on. And so I thought he did fine, but I don't think that it was something we'll look back on and be like, oh, wow, Colton just absolutely crushed it to all. He didn't share much more than we've already known.
Is that what you wanted, more emotion, more insight from him?
Yeah, I did, but I think it's hard for him right now because a lot of the end of the season where he's jumping a fence, we don't know how that ends, and that is the most emotional moment we've seen yet. And so none of this story that's been told makes sense without the last 2 episodes. Sometimes when we're here at Tell All, a lot of the show has already, kind of been explained, and there's been some hard, goodbyes and all that. But right now we're sitting in a moment where most of the storyline of this show hasn't been played out.
It is a little wild, and I want to ask you what you think could or should happen here, maybe, because what we have is Cassie walked away from Colton saying that she was not in love with him, that she didn't have these feelings. Tayshia and Hannah do have these feelings, but Colton has said on camera in the episode we saw Monday night, he said he wanted it to be Cassie at the end. So my question to you is, can any of these relationships have a chance from here? Like, will Colton end up alone? How would he salvage with any of them, or do you think he can or should?
It's something about the show that I don't quite understand yet. And you look back on relationships like Des and Chris. And so without that example, it'd be really hard for me to imagine any of these other relationships working. But with Des and Chris, you had Brooks there to the very end, and then he left and she looked around and said, wow, there's still a guy here that is unlike anything I've ever dated, but I think he's right for me. And that's when she first started giving her attention to Chris, and now they're together with kids and they're happy. I think in Colton's scenario, it feels a little bit more isolated. Like he only wanted Cassie. I don't know at this point how he looks around himself and goes, yeah, the other 2 women still have a chance. I don't think it'd be fair to them, especially after having to watch what just happened. But especially with an engagement, that's the part I don't get, is how are you supposed to get down on one knee when you're still so much into one person up until a few days left?
Yeah, well, that's the question a lot of the time. Is somebody ready? Is somebody ready? And it was interesting to hear Colton kind of say, look, after all this, and I think he meant after the show, like, I want to be happy and I want to be with you. Do you think he should have done anything different with Cassie in that moment when she was walking out?
I think she should have did something different with Colton. I think it was very clear that she was not into him. And so as much as she maybe felt the pressure to still be there and to still try to make this work, you have a lot of people counting on you and watching. I think all she wanted to tell him was, like, you're a great guy. You've proven to be a great guy, but I'm just not that into you. And as a result, I need to leave. But instead, it felt like she was kind of dancing around the subject, going, this is too fast. This isn't right for me. I just don't know. She knew. And so if she would have just told Colton, this isn't going to work. Like, we're not meant for each other. Then Colton just has to say goodbye. He's getting broken up with, and he can't beg and can't, scream for more. And so what Colton did was he just fought for her. And I think that's fair. He loves this woman. I don't think she gave him the right explanation. She should have just left and said, this isn't going to work.
Yeah, it was a little confusing because she came in, she was kind of smiling at certain points, like saying stop shaking. She walked away, she came back. It was confusing. What did you think about what was going on in her head, maybe?
I don't know. She was so confident walking up there, and she said, hey, I'm going to leave tonight. Like, that was her interview, is I'm going to go home. And at that point, I get it. Like, I'm totally on her side. I would love to see Colton happy. I'd love to see this work out. But if she's not into him, why keep this thing going on? And so I thought, okay, she knows what she wants. She knows what she's feeling. She's going to be honest and straightforward and respectful and just break up with Colton. And that's going to suck and it's going to hurt and he's going to cry. but it's going to be the best thing for all of us. But what happened was then she walked into the room and like is smiling, which she's nervous probably. But then she goes, yeah, today was perfect. After he said the date was perfect and how much fun they had. Shut that down. Like, you have to put your foot down in that moment and go, it wasn't perfect. Like, I don't like you. Like, where I don't love you like you love me, and I need to go home. And then it's all done. But instead, it just felt like it was played out, it was stretched out, and it was confusing to me at times watching it, wondering, is she going to still stick around, or is she going to go home, or is she into him, or is she not?
I felt bad for Colton. I did, because I felt like he was not getting the clarity he needed, and it felt a little bit like, I don't want to say mean, but I was like, just tell him. I felt bad for him. I also want to ask you about our new Bachelorette, who you think it maybe should be, because on the Women Tell All, of course, we see some of our front runners coming back, Kaylin in the hot seat, Hannah B in the hot seat. We saw Hannah B and Chris Harrison give a toast to finding fierce love, which I thought was interesting. And I asked both Kaylin and Hannah B about it. Hannah B said she's totally open to it in our interview. Kaylin said she wasn't sure because Women Tell All was rough. Who do you think should be, or maybe who shouldn't be, our new Bachelorette?
I would be, if I'm honest, I'm a little tainted just because this whole season, you know, Kaylin and Cassie were rumored to want to be the Bachelorette. And I think as a result, that has obviously influenced my decision because I don't want anybody coming on this show with the intention of what's next, unless the what's next is maybe being content in whatever relationship is presented on the show. And so as a result, you know, Kaylin would do great, I'm sure, but my vote would go to Hannah B. And I also want to say is because this week I was able to interview a couple of the women from the show, and I asked each one of them, who do you hope is the next Bachelorette? And woman after woman after woman said, Hannah B. She'd be awesome. She's funny, she's funky, she's ready for love, she's going to say whatever it is. And so if all the women who know her best think she's going to be a great Bachelorette, then I'll trust it, and I'll put my vote in there too.
All right, Ben Higgins, co-founder of Generous Coffee. Guys, follow Ben on social if you don't already, and get some of that coffee because he's given me some and it's delicious. Ben, thank you so much as always. We will talk to you soon. Everybody, thanks for watching ET Live. Roses and Rosé, our YouTube recap will be up soon, and ET Live is 24/7. Don't go anywhere. We will be back with more celebrity news. Thanks so much.